I didn't know nothing really about Prince Edward Island. And so I just saw in the stamps there was a very, very small collection. And yeah, I started reading and, getting familiar with this. Now
Yeah.
it's a province of Canada, but at the time where the stamps were issued, there was a colony of.
It was a colony until 1873. They didn't join Canada with all the other provinces. They held out, and then Canada, the main part of Canada, promised to build a railroad. So then they joined Canada in 73.
And then I look at the name, where the name is coming from, right? Because this used to belong to actually France.
Yeah, it was called Ile Saint Jean.
Why did they change the name? Because Saint John, I think, was already used somewhere else in Canada, right? And just to avoid confusion.
There was one of the British royalty at that time,
Yes, that was Prince Edward, and he actually became the father of Queen Victoria 20 years later after they renamed the island. Yeah, she wasn't born at that time anyway. So they only got the stamps for roughly 11 years, really, from 1861 to 1872. Right now, when I look at the stamps, and out of all the 16 stamps, every single one has the head or the face of Queen Victoria, every single one. I never really knew where this picture is coming from, because we have seen similar pictures, especially like the penny black. The penny black was initially was a medal created by William Wyon, and then on that medal, that was, I guess, celebrating that Queen Victoria becoming a queen. And then Henry Corbeau, he did a drawing on that. And then on that drawing was based on penny black and other stamps like this one. But they are not exactly the same. They are very similar, but they are not exactly the same. There are actually 9 stamps like this, like the first one. So, of course, there's different color, different value, different frame, and different perforations.
Yeah, I would say that that image is probably simply a different engraving of the same drawing.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody else engraved it, and so it came out a little differently from the image on the penny black, but based on the same drawing.
Based on the same drawing of Henry Corbeau, yeah. And so then I saw the second stamp and I said, well, why this is very different? So there is a story of this, right? Why this stamp actually, they issued this stamp. There was a reason for that. In 1870, Great Britain changed their postage rate to Canada, to all the provinces, North America, from 6 pence to 3 pence, right? And so they agree with everybody, and they start sending stamps, but the stamps, the mail, right? But the mail that arrived to Prince Edward Island was being rejected, or asking for, hey, there is not enough postage rate in here, and you have to pay the extra. You are short 3 pence plus a fine because it's not enough postage. And then they said, well, everybody has agreed, but actually they made a mistake. They forgot Prince Edward Island Agreement. They told the other provinces, but not to them. And so then at that time, Prince Edward Island said, okay, we're going to issue another stamp right now. Okay. Before they were engraving the stamps in London, but now they need to issue one right away. So they went to the British American banknote company in Ottawa, and they said, okay, so we need a stamp. And then they decided to change because, there was a different engraver, different company, and they got these pictures. So it's a picture of Queen Victoria that was in her. This is based on the first speech of Queen Victoria to the House of Lords. So there was this painting, Alfred Chalon. So he did the painting, but actually then there was a watercolor that was done by Edward Henry Corbeau. So very similar the name, because this is the son of the one who did the drawing, the first initial drawing. And based on that watercolor, then engraved different stamps. So for Prince Edward Island, it's like this, but there are a few other places, New Zealand and some other Canadian sites. I don't think they are exactly the same. They are a little bit different. And now the value, when we're talking here, these pence, so this is Prince Edward Island pounds. Okay, so all of these are pounds, right? So the Prince Edward Island pounds are a little lower than the British pounds. So what you have, the value on the right is Prince Edward Island values, pounds, right? Pence in this case. And the one on the left is the 3 pence that Great Britain was they agreed to that. So and they put both, I guess. So hey, you know, that's the rate of that to send stamps. Yes.
Do you know what those initials stand for? It says
yes.
3, looks like STG.
Sterling.
And the CY?
I think it's just
Okay.
currency.
All
Currency for pence, yes.
This stamp can only be used to send mail from Prince Edward Island to somewhere else.
Prince Edward Island issued this stamp just for their own people to know, hey, this is a new rate.
Okay.
And in the local currency, this is equal to our local currency 4.5 pence. So this was a 10th stamps, and they only issued 16 stamps, right? So this is 1870. In 1872, they changed to decimal system. And so they need to issue all different values. So they issue 6 more stamps, right? But now, let's remember, Dave just said 1873, Prince Edward Island became part of the Canadian Confederation. So they used this only for 1 year. Then I said, where are these pictures coming from? Because it still is Queen Victoria. And so I read that this was based on a bust, a little sculpture of the head of Queen Victoria that was done by this sculptor, William Deed. The engraver in here was Leonard Wyon. It is the son of William Wyon, who created the medal, that to commemorate that the Queen Victoria becoming a queen. So it's funny that some family members were involved in the different parts. Now, when I'm going to show you the stamps, remember it's only 16 stamps. So I'm going to show you more than 16 because some of the shades of the colors are a little bit different, like that, but it's only 16. Now, if you look at the first, these are the first 3 stamps, right? In 1861, they issued these stamps. And now, if you realize in here, starting with that, this is for the 5th stamp, the 5th, 6th, and the 7 are very similar to the first 3. But the perforation, the quality of the perforation is different. It got better, and the different size of perforation was that. The colors are also are not exactly the same, but there seems to be different varieties now. Now, this one in here, that 5F, this is the 5th stamp. So these 2 are together. Now, the issue in here that Scott mentioned is the O, right? I guess that there was an issue probably with a plate or something. So but it is listed in Scott. And then here, yes, a few, and this is the stamp that we spoke about before. And now,
I thought that 4 pence one was not very beautiful.
No, it's okay. You bring a very important point, because I read this. When they all these stamps in general, they were done a kind of in a low budget.
Yeah, you can tell the engraving.
Yes,
printing,
low budget, no good ink quality, and the paper not the best paper necessarily.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and then here becomes that decimal, using the decimal system, right? So this became that Prince Edward Island dollars. That was that main currency, but only for a year, because after the year they switched to use that whatever the Canadian
Yeah.
Confederation was using. So that was a new currency. Okay, so that's pretty much it.